Welcome back to my channel. I am Amber from Amber's Books and More, and today I have my mini book review number 2. So this is a new series that I started where I kind of do a mini review on every 5 books that I read. So I read another 5, so let's go ahead and jump right in. The first book I want to talk about is These Broken Stars by Amie Kaufman and Megan Spooner. This is the first of a trilogy. I believe it's more of like a companion trilogy, the way that the Illuminae files kind of are. So I've only read the first one, but this is the one I'm going to talk about. So this is basically about these, go away. This is basically about a girl named Lilac, which is like a spoiled rich girl, and a boy named Tarver, which is like a war hero, even though he's fairly young. So they're on this big ship out in outer space. Something happens to the ship. It like throws them through hyperspace, and they're the only ones that are able to get into escape pods and actually land safely. And the rest of the ship goes down, and they're the only survivors on this new crazy weird land. And this is how they survive and get back, basically. This is weird. This was really, really, really weird. But I liked it a lot. Like, I really enjoyed how weird this was, and I really enjoyed a kind of a different look on sci-fi than what we normally see, because it was almost like a sci-fi with like a mystery type twist, I guess. I definitely am going to continue with the series. I give this 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I think that it was an odd ending, but it was a good ending. A weird ending, but it was a good ending. I enjoyed it. I think everybody should read it if you're a lover of sci-fi, but it's not so sci-fi that I think it would intimidate anybody, because it doesn't really go into definition of the science factor. It's more of like what's happening on the island. So it kind of almost had this like Lost feel to it. It was good. 4 to 5 stars. So the next book I want to talk about is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. So this is basically a companion to Fangirl. It was the fan fiction that Kath was writing in the book, but it is written from Rainbow's writing perspective. So it kind of feels like a fan fiction of a fan fiction of a fiction, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I could see how heavily influenced it was by Harry Potter, but it was different enough that didn't really bother me. It's just, I don't know, it was weird, and the first half, at least, maybe 3/4 of the book, I was kind of bored, and I'm like, yeah, but then it gets to the main reason for the fan fiction, which was a love story between these two gentlemen, which is basically like Harry and Draco, but not. They're not like Harry and Draco in this story, but they're like roommates and hate each other, but it was good. That part of it was great. I really enjoyed that part. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It was okay. The cover is gorgeous, and I'm definitely excited that I have this copy of it, and I just don't think I'll ever reread it, but I will keep it for sure. So the next book I want to talk about is A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. So I didn't hate this book. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I thought it was about witches, and while it is about witches, it's more of a vampire romance. So let me give you some highlights, and you tell me what you think it sounds like. So there's this witch that is mortal, but she meets a vampire. This vampire is older, much older. This vampire has kind of some special abilities. This vampire is very overprotective. This vampire will not sleep with her unless they get married. This vampire is kind of an ass sometimes, but she loves it. Let's see. Oh yeah, vampires figure out they can get humans pregnant. What does that sound like to you? If you said Twilight, you're correct. This feels a lot like Twilight if Bella was a witch and she was in her 30s. This chick in this book made so many bad decisions to be in her 30s and be like a professor with a PhD in college. Come on now. You would not make those kind of decisions with that kind of brain. No. It wasn't great. I'm going to continue the series. I will probably just get the rest of it from the library. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this copy. Stay tuned, I guess. But 3 out of 5 stars. If you enjoyed Twilight, if you enjoy vampires in general, you'll probably like it. Just know that it's a lot like Twilight. The last book I want to talk about in this mini review series is Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. I don't really want to say much about this because you really do need to go into this, as with most like thriller type novels, not really knowing much. But what I will tell you is kind of what you can find out on the synopsis. So basically, there's this single mother in her 30s, or late 30s, early 40s, somewhere in that range. And there's a river that runs through this town, and they find her body in the river. People say people think that she committed suicide. People think that she was pushed. People think other supernatural things might have happened. So basically, the whole point is to find out why she did it. Because there was a very young girl and a teenage girl that basically just months before was found in the river as well. And it kind of goes into why she did it and the reason why, or not why she did it, what happened to her and how what happened to her might relate to what happened to this person. So the only thing is that there's a lot of back and forth, right, with the future and the past and with different character perspectives. That can be a little bit confusing at first. Once you get the hang of it, it's a quick read. And note that there are some supernatural elements that come into place here. I don't want to say where and I don't want to say how. Just know that there are some things that could be construed as a supernatural element. So it's almost like a thriller. I don't know. It's good. 4 to 5 stars on Goodreads. If you're a fan of thrillers, I definitely recommend it. Now, a lot of people are saying, like, if you liked her first novel and if you liked Gone Girl, you should read it. This was nothing like Gone Girl. This was not even in the same realm as Gone Girl. It was so different. I haven't read her other book. I do plan on reading it, but I do know the overall premise because it was a movie. I didn't watch the movie, but I've seen previews for the movie, so I don't think it's anything like her first novel either. I think it's just its own thing. I've never seen anything like it, and I recommend it. 4 out of 5 stars. It was good. So that's all I have for you today. Let me know if you are enjoying this series and if I should lower it to maybe 3 books, if I should raise it to more. I think that would take too long in a video, honestly. But yeah, so until next time, have a great day wherever you are, and I love you. Bye.